The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Coming up on Farm Connections, we explore one of the biggest farm shows in the country, the Big Iron Show in Fargo, North Dakota. We'll look at the latest and biggest machines, visit with show organizers, and meet with farmers from throughout the region. It's all coming up on Farm Connections.
Welcome to Farm Connections with your host, Dan Hoffman.
The Red River Valley, located on the border of North Dakota and Minnesota, is among the most productive agricultural regions in the world. To celebrate and nurture their deep-rooted agricultural heritage, Fargo hosts an enormous farm show every year, the Big Iron Show. Farmers from across the country come to Fargo to see the latest and greatest machinery, learn about ag trends, and exchange ideas. I had the opportunity to visit with organizers of the Big Iron Show to understand what makes this show so special.
Brian Schultz, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
This is a fantastic show. Can you tell us what your job is here?
Well, I'm the general manager of the Red River Valley Fair Association, and what that is we oversee many different areas. One of them is the Big Iron Farm Show, which is a subsidiary of ours, and also everything else that goes on in the grounds.
Everything else, what is that?
Oh, we have everything from dog shows, cat shows, weddings, funerals, races, anything and everything you can imagine that could go on a fairgrounds.
Well, with all of that as a backdrop, what we're really here to learn more about is the Big Iron Farm Show. What makes this special and why do people come here?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we are the biggest farm show in the upper Midwest. We're able to draw in vendors from all over the world and guests from all over the world. With the North Dakota Trade Office, they bring in anywhere from 100 to 150 international guests from Croatia, Kazakhstan, South Africa, anywhere and everywhere that comes in and checks out our show. And what's unique about it is because we can draw from so many different areas and pull in within like a 2 to 3 hour drive time. Plus we've got the international airport, we have the I-29 and 94, easy access into the Fargo-Moorhead area.
That's really interesting you mentioned that. Yesterday you gave me a nice booklet on the history of the fair, and one of the challenges back around 80 years ago was transportation.
Absolutely. With our international airport, getting in and getting out is really easy. You've got American, you've got Delta, North, United, Allegiant. We've got the trains coming in just about every other day. I mean, they're getting here is very, very easy now.
I'm guessing if we go back far enough, it was really a problem of where to park the horse.
Absolutely, yes. Well, back in 1980, we started out in just west of Castleton, and after that year, they decided they needed to move it in where there's more area. And this was the perfect place. We've got about 320 acres, and just about the whole thing is used during the Big Iron Farm Show.
Looks like you've solved the transportation issue. Do you need more space here?
Absolutely. We have about 60 people on our waiting list every year that want to get in, that have to get in. My boss told me I had to get in, type of thing. And so, we're doing our best to get them in. You just get to the point where you have no space to go. We were teasing that we're going to have to build a double-decker parking garage that we can use at other times, so we can stack them even higher. But it's a good problem to have. Other farm shows have issues about getting people in. We have to turn people away.
Well, this is all about agriculture. Do you have any idea the impact that this show and agriculture has on North Dakota and Minnesota?
Not exact numbers, but we know just in the Fargo-Moorhead area, you can't find a hotel room. Going shopping, the malls are packed, all the stores are packed, the restaurants are packed. We just know in this 3 days, we can bring between 70 and 80,000 people into our area. We know that the economic impact is huge on that.
And I'm guessing some people are really realizing that agriculture has a big footprint and they're good people to have around for the economy.
Most definitely. And when you start talking about the international guests that come in here, you know, they're buying equipment, they're taking that home. We heard a couple of years ago a lady had bought 10 combines, 5 of them to actually do her work and 5 for parts, because it was the issues of getting the parts. So, you know, obviously the Big Iron Farm Show reaches out all over the world.
What's fun for me is I watch big manufacturers being represented, but also innovative small shops, maybe a welding shop that brings a product here.
Most definitely, and that's what our big focus is. We want everything that has to do with agriculture. If it's from cameras that you put into your barns, to the most technical GPS systems, to the largest combines, the smallest combines, anything you can imagine, we want that here at our show, because that's what's going to draw the people in.
Well, thanks for being part of Farm Connections and agriculture.
We appreciate you being here. Thanks, and have a great day.
Thank you, Brian. Jody Burrish, thanks for having us at the Big Iron Farm Show. And there's a lot of history here.
Yes, definitely.
Let's start with, what do you do here?
Right now I'm the assistant general manager, and I take care of most of the sponsorships, advertising, marketing, social media. And then during like the Red River Valley Fair, that's annually in July, I handle like the Ag Education Center. And we all have different areas that we kind of take over.
Well, there's a lot happening here, but it sounds like there's something that happens here just about all year long.
Oh, definitely. We have over 250 events going on year-round, from trade shows to wedding receptions to antique auctions, all kinds of different things.
Well, what's special about the Big Iron Farm Show, the one that's happening right now?
Big Iron has been in existence since 1980. It's the 33rd year. It's 80,000 people here in 3 days. It's phenomenal. It's the place to be. It's one of those things where all of the vendors come here because they know they got good sales. They've got good customers that come back year after year, and they actually do sales here. It's not just getting leads. They are selling product as we speak.
Well, as I walked around, I saw lots of product and lots of people and lots of interaction, but there seems to be a sense of community. Can you expand on that at all?
It's kind of like a little reunion. You see different groups of people all the time, like, hey, I haven't seen you since last year, how you doing? And then they sit down and they have a burger or whatnot, and they start talking about how their farming's gone in the last year, and they connect. People make plans. Are you gonna be here? See, just waved at one person. Are you gonna be here next year on Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday? And they all meet up here. So it is a community thing.
Your job is gratifying, I'm sure, but at the end of the show, what really makes you happy?
I think what happens for me is that we get that connection with people, that people realize that the Red River Valley Fair is the host of the Big Iron Farm Show. A lot of the farm shows out in the United States are sponsored or put on by a certain company. We actually do it here. It's local. We take care of it ourselves. We don't hire a company to put it on. It's our staff that we work with.
When this many vendors, farmers, and agricultural people come together, what impact does it have on West Fargo and beyond?
That's a good question. We talk about that all the time. I would love to do an economic impact study on this, but there isn't a restaurant in town that's not happy that we're here. The Convention Visitors Bureau works with us hand in hand. There's not a hotel room to be found right now. It is a big impact to our community. The shopping centers love us. It makes a big difference just to have Big Iron here. You'll see planes flying. There's a plane right there. You'll see planes flying with streamers behind it advertising to come to that restaurant tonight. It's a big impact.
What's the favorite part of the week for you?
I think seeing all the people, talking to them, they're all happy. I mean, this is not like a complaining type group. Everybody's here because they want to be here, and it's free.
Well, they have a common interest, agriculture, which produces food, fuel, feed, and fiber.
Definitely.
And North Dakota is all about that.
Well, yeah, I think, what are we, the number 14, number 1 crops are growing in North Dakota, I believe it is. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of impact that we have here.
Well, as we look east across the Red River, we see some friends in Minnesota. You're geographically located in a place that, you really do business in 2 states. Can you expand on that at all?
Oh, definitely. We have people coming from Minnesota, Iowa, South Dakota, Manitoba, western North Dakota, parts of Montana. We have people coming from, vendors from all over the place. We have 104, I believe, delegates from different countries that are here with the North Dakota Trade Office. So, yeah, we expand all over the place.
A wonderful event, and thanks for taking the time, Bill.
Thank you.
Jensen, thanks for joining us at Big Iron Farm Show in West Fargo. Why are you here?
We're here to talk about Rural Leadership North Dakota, a great program throughout a statewide leadership program to interact with people who come, who are probably a pretty good cross-section of the people we want in our program.
Well, what are you looking for in an emerging leader or somebody that wants to come into your program?
Well, we're looking for someone who has a real desire to learn about themselves, learn about the state, learn about the country, and now we have an international part of it, so the world, and then take that back and take action in their community.
Why is that important to North Dakota?
Well, I think it's important because there's so many things that come in, be it policies for agriculture, the marketing, the message of agriculture. We want people to have ag producers and ranchers talking about the message rather than somebody else taking that message and looking at it the wrong way. So for us, we can help in this leadership program by networking people who can get the message out that they want, or helping people get skills if they are looking for that. So to me, it's just a great way to network here at Big Iron with people who are probably not even realizing they want that. But when we talk about it, they'll get excited.
Well, North Dakota is a prosperous place with ambitious people, and I'm thinking that you want to continue that. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The ag economy is really important for North Dakota. And the individuals that are out working on the farm, sometimes they don't take the time to always think about how they affect everyone, but they feed the world. That's a pretty important part of their occupation, feeding the world.
And if we can't do it well in North Dakota or Minnesota, we're in big trouble.
We are, you're absolutely right. Yeah, North Dakota has a huge impact on the world, the agriculture products that come out of North Dakota that feed the world, as well as domestically, of course.
Well, you've walked around the showgrounds a little bit at Big Iron Farm Show. What's the attraction? Why do people come here?
Well, it's a gathering. The first time I came out here, Dan, I couldn't believe how many different places to look at, be it machinery right behind us, or different kinds of technology that are in the building behind us, but networking with people too. I think it's just as important at Big Iron as it is in our rural leadership program.
Great points, and I really appreciate you sharing with us.
You're very welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Marie.
You're welcome.
Matt Danuser, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Well, we'd like to know what you've seen at the Big Iron Farm Show in Fargo, North Dakota that attracts you. Why do you come back?
Well, just always getting to be a chance to see what's new, big, and better out there, and put the dreams out there for what might be able to afford in the future, I guess.
Did you find something that you need?
Well, there's a lot of stuff you try to decide between need and want, and separating those out. And it's, with the current farm economy and stuff like that, it's all depending on your scale, what you can afford, and you find things that you can apply to your own situations. So,
well, it looks like farmers impact the area and the economy in a large way. Can you expand on that?
Well, definitely here in the Red River Valley area, farming is king. That's what drives the economy and scale, everything in the whole area. So this is our chance to put on the big show like other areas around the country. The big manufacturers all come out and demonstrate the newest technology and stuff like that. So definitely a lot of dollars spent here at Big Iron. I think they're expecting 90,000 people here for the 3 days. And it's always fun to get a chance to see other farmers and other co-workers that you don't get to see that often all come here and enjoying a fun scenario.
Matt, tell me about your farm operation.
I have the opportunity to farm with my father. We're farm about 30 miles southeast of Jamestown, North Dakota. We farm about 1,500 acres of corn and soybeans. It's a centennial farm, so it's strong heritage, established in 1881. So I'm fifth generation, and it's kind of fun to be able to keep that going, and the current economies have definitely allowed us to expand the operation and start taking it more forward into the next century.
Do you do any off-farm activities?
Yes, being
with me and my folks, we're only 1,500 acre smaller operation. I do work off farm. Got my own crop consulting business. I do that a couple days a week, and then some seed sales also.
Well, recently you were in a program called Rural Leadership North Dakota. Why did you take that journey of trying to improve your leadership?
I was brought to me, became aware of the Rural Leadership North Dakota program through our local county agent, and he thought it'd be a good program for me to check out, and I checked it out, and I was able to secure a sponsorship from the North Dakota Soybean Council, and so I decided to enroll and take part of the program. It's a great program. It allows you to become aware of what opportunities there are in your local community, how to get involved, take more of a leadership role. A lot of training, a lot of networking throughout the state and country, and even out-of-country experience in Brazil. But it's mostly the contacts we picked up through the rural leadership and my other classmates throughout the state of some dynamic individuals. It's been a lot of fun.
What did you learn on that international trip to Brazil?
Probably the biggest take-home message, we got to go to Brazil for 10 days and see 3 different distinct areas, mostly focused on agriculture, but gives you a new appreciation for what we actually have back here, that maybe our government isn't quite so bad, some of those scenarios. And Brazil is not a third world country like some people might think it is. They're really progressive. They're taking advantage of all the technology and ag inputs and things like we are. It's just a lot of their bureaucracy gets in their way. So, but it's a wonderful culture, more than friendly, everyone very inquisitive, greeted with open arms wherever you went. The beautiful culture, the scenery, cities like Rio de Janeiro, the history is just amazing.
Fascinating stuff, Matt. I hope that your leadership journey continues.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks very
visiting
much.
with us. Teresa, thank you for joining us at the Big Iron Farm Show. Why are you here?
Well, I'm here to man a booth for the Minnesota Soybean Growers Association, and kind of like to walk around, look at what's new in the industry.
And there's a lot here. What did you find?
Well, they got some pretty big equipment, probably a little too big for my farm, but I don't know. It's always kind of fun to see what's going on in tiling. It's good to see what's new in bins, what's new for seed. What's coming down the pipe for what the seed dealers have going on. I don't know, it's just kind of fun to even just get together and visit with other farmers.
Well, you're beginning to sound like an owner and a manager of a farm. Are you?
Oh, yeah, my husband and I farm 2,600 acres in northwestern Minnesota. Kind of live on the original family farm, so we've been on there, about 114 years now, kind of a long time. Love it, love being in my little space of the country. We farm wheat, soybeans, sunflowers, non-oil, and we've got in on a little bit of corn this year.
Well, I remember having a phone conversation or an email message from you saying, Dan, I'd love to visit, I'd love to help, but a combine's waiting for me. You run the combine?
Oh, yeah, I've been running combine since, a lot longer. I'm not going to even date myself. Yeah, I went combining on the Harvest Brigade. I'm in the field. I tend to be the lead person on our combine. It helps me understand what's going on in our field, know what things in the soil need to be taken care of, what problems we're maybe having. And it's also good to have experienced people out in the field. I've been combining a long time.
Well, there's a lot of people here that can maybe help with those things. I've seen nutritionists, agronomists, fertilizer people, equipment salespeople. Is that why you're here, to learn more?
Yeah, I kind of deal mostly with my local agronomists, and we've been around the block a long time and we're relatively knowledgeable, but we just want to make sure that our land is taken care of, and if it does have some problems, we need to take care of it.
Well, it sounds like you're in a leadership role with the Minnesota Soybean Growers Association, and you visited a little bit about leadership training. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I've had my fair share of leadership training. I have done Leadership at its Best and Syngenta Agri Women, but I did a 2-year program called Marl. About a decade ago, I was in Marl Class 2, and it was a really good way of taking some of my leadership skills and maybe kind of trying to bring them out a little bit, helping me to be a little bit more knowledgeable of what my strong points maybe are, and helping me understand where maybe some other people come from.
Well, you certainly are doing all of that and more, and it's fun to watch your leadership journey and see you step up and take more and more responsibilities.
I'm trying, but as a farmer, you know, I physically farm my farm, and so my time sometimes is maybe more limited than I'd like it to be, but I'm giving it my best shot.
You're doing awesome. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Dan.
Kyle, thanks for joining us at the Big Iron Farm Show.
Absolutely, Dan. Appreciate it. Thanks for, I enjoy being here.
Well, Kyle Peterson of Murdoch, Minnesota, right?
Correct.
You mentioned you've been here several times. Why do you come back?
I guess Big Iron is one of those things, Dan, that it's more of the machinery that I use on my farm. And there's a diversity of machinery here that's from big to small, but it's more of what I use is what it amounts to.
Well, you speak about your farm. What do you grow on your farm?
I raise sugar beets, corn, soybeans, sweet corn, peas, and alfalfa.
Well, we're in the fall of the year. What's happening on your farm?
You know, during the fall of the year, we're busy. We're generally run some things 24 hours a day, but we are lifting sugar beets, combining corn, soybeans. All of those are at the same time a lot of the times. And so it's a very busy, hectic schedule in the fall.
So you look at some beet equipment while you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few different beet companies that have equipment here, and you can see some updates that they've got on new beet equipment. Sugar beet equipment is one of those specialized items that every farmer does a little different, and even a new piece of machinery you'll take home and you'll somewhat tweak it to your own specifications for what you want, and you're running in the ground in the dirt to get the sugar beets out. So it's a heavily high maintenance piece of machinery is what it is. So.
You mentioned the beet harvest in 24 hours a day. Could you just walk through what's one day of beet harvest or lifting like for your farm?
Okay, well in our farm we run 12 hours a day, so we run a 12-hour shift on our farm in the sugar beets. 3 years ago I believe it was, I switched from running 24 hours a day, which we had been doing that for 12 or 15 years, and I cut back to 12 just so we would stop once in a while. And the other thing is that we have time to repair things a little bit better that way too. And just people-wise, it worked better in our operation. There are several in our area that run 24, and it just depends on where you sit, how you justify doing things in your operation. I am running tillage 24 hours a day sometimes, later in the fall definitely, and you know, depending on the beets, we would adjust to that too if we need to. So.
Well, walking around the grounds, I've seen people from other countries, and you talked a little bit about a leadership journey and program you're involved in and travel internationally. Can you expand on that?
Okay, well, I've been to several foreign countries with Marl for one. That was a great experience in South Africa. Last year I was in Europe over there with the sugar beet industry that I'm involved in, and but the Marl experience is one of those things that if anybody ever has the opportunity, they should take advantage of. It's a great a leadership program, and through it, it's not totally what you know when you go in. It's about who you meet and what you learn when you come out. There's so many interesting people, and the knowledge that you gain and the people that you meet is huge.
Where have you applied that training and knowledge?
You know, probably as much as anything in my home area, which that's what it's really for, and I'm very heavily involved in the sugar beet industry. I'm on our board of directors at Southern Minnesota Beet Sugar Co-op, and on the board of directors at the American Sugar Beet Growers Association. And so that's where I've applied it greatly, but just in your own home areas, different leadership areas that you can be involved in.
Wonderful story. Keep up the good leadership.
Thank you very much, Dan. Appreciate it.
Kyle.
Yep.
Welcome to the Big Iron Farm Show.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering, why are you here?
Well, I came today to staff the Marl booth and kind of recruit folks for the next Marl class.
Well, what is Marl?
Marl is an ag-rural leadership program that's through Southwest State, Minnesota. Under that program, it helps provide leadership for leaders in rural Minnesota.
Well, I understand you're a very important person in your community of Detroit Lakes, and the impact is even further than the city limits. What do you do for a job?
Sure, I work for USDA Rural Development. I'm kind of a loan officer, I guess you could call me, but I finance city water, sewer systems, hospitals, clinics. The theory is that we're the part of USDA that keeps the small rural towns alive. So that's really our goal, and so that's kind of what got me into Marl, and kind of why I'm here today is to learn more about the ag side. That's kind of the piece that I'm learning about besides the leadership part in Marl.
I'm thinking there's a lot to see and learn here. What have you seen so far?
Definitely seen a lot of equipment, things like that are always of interest to me, and especially just the change of the size of the equipment is just amazing.
And Andrew, thanks for being here and interviewing, but also thanks for the work you do to keep rural Minnesota strong.
Thank you.
I hope you learned something during our visit to the Big Iron Show in Fargo, North Dakota. Join me next time on Farm Connections.